Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azahra Clarista Aurelia. In this occasion, I would like to present my language assessment and administration project, making assessment models that is focused on writing and reading skills for 12th grade. And in this presentation, I will briefly explain the initial competencies, the learning objectives, the assessment model and item, the reason and the benefit of each task for each assessment, for both writing and reading for lots and hot students. And first, I will explain the writing skill assessment for lots. I will start from the task one. So in the writing skill assessment, there are two tasks for 60 minutes. And this is the first task. The first task is a functional writing task where students write a personal letter to a friend who invited them for a meal. And the task requires students to thank the friend, describe what they liked, and invite the friend to a restaurant. And the initial competencies for this task are really basic. So the students should already be able to identify the purpose and audience of the personal letter and use a simple letter format, use simple past tense, and apply basic expression for thanking and inviting. And then here is the learning objectives for this task. The learning objectives focus on Bloom taxonomy C2 and C3. The students are expected to uh, understand the task requirements and apply their knowledge to write a personal letter of at least 150 words. And then the model is functional writing, and the item is writing a personal letter. And the reason why I chose this task is because this task is suitable for grade 12 with low order thinking skill students because the context is very familiar and concrete. And the students don't need abstract thinking, they only need to understand the situation and apply a known format. And the bullet points or the guidelines will help them to reduce cognitive load, which is appropriate for a 20-minute task. And the benefit of this task is that this task assess a real communication skills. It allows which because it is a functional writing, and it allows the teacher to assess clarity, organization, and functional language fairly without requiring advanced reasoning. And then here is the task two, argumentative essay about the first impression when meeting someone. The second The second task for low order thinking skills, writing task, is an argumentative essay about first impression. And here is the task. The initial competencies is that the student should already be able to state a simple opinion, write a basic four-paragraph essay, and give two reasons with examples. And the learning objectives are the objectives mainly target C2 and C3. The students understand the issue and apply a basic argument structure. The model the model is argumentative writing, and the item is writing an argumentative essay. The reason why I choose this task is because this task is still suitable for students with low order thinking skill because the students are not required to deeply evaluate multiple perspective and they only need to choose one side or briefly mention both sides using the personal experience. Here is the instruction. And the benefit of this task is This task helps students to practice academic writing basics such as paragraphing, coherence, and supporting ideas, which are essential for grade 12. And then now we move to writing skill assessment for students with high order thinking skill. Here's also there are two tasks for 60 minutes. The first task is for 20 minutes. And the first task is functional writing. The students have to write formal letter about a lost jacket. In this task, the students have to write a formal letter to a movie theater manager about a lost jacket. The initial competencies, uh, the initial competencies of this task is that the students should already be able to use a formal tone, describe objects in detail, make a polite request. And the learning objective of this task are the objectives mainly focus on C3, that is apply, and because the student must select relevant details and present them formally. And the model is functional writing. The student have to writing formal letter of request. The item is writing a formal letter of request. And the reason why I choose this task is because this task is need high order thinking skill because student must analyze the situation first. They have to prioritize the information. Here is the information, and they have to communicate formally and politely. And also, it really reflects real life problem solving because they also have to explain what they want the manager to do about it. And the benefit of this task is that the students can develop formal communication skills, which are important for academic and professional context. And then, here is the task two, that is argumentative essay for high order thinking skill. And this is a complex writing task, I think. And this is the task. The initial competencies to do this task are the students should already be able to analyze two viewpoints, compare ideas, and support an opinion with reasons and example. And the learning objectives are uh, the objectives target Bloom's taxonomy C4 and C5. The students analyze both views and evaluate which is more influential, and the model is argumentative writing, and the item is writing an argumentative essay. The reason why I chose this task is because this task is suitable for students with high order thinking skill because it requires analysis and evaluation, not just opinion. And the topic is relevant to students' academic experience. And the benefit of this task is this task prepares students for university level writing and critical thinking. Yeah, because they have to discuss both views. So it's more complex. And then now move to reading skill assessment. And first I will explain the reading assessment for students with low order thinking skill part. And the first lot's passage is an expository text. about smart energy, about smart energy, and it explained changes in energy supply and the benefits of smart grids and also some challenges in a clear and structured way. And here is the text. I adopt the text from examenglish.com, and the word level of the text is B1. And the reason why I chose this text is because the text is relevant for modern students and it provides explicit information that students can locate through skimming and scanning. The paragraph structure is also very clear, so students with low order thinking skill can answer comprehension questions without heavy interpretation. And this text type fits grade 12 because grade 12 students should already handle informational academic text, but at a low order thinking skill level, they are mainly assessed on identifying details, mind ideas, and simple inference. And then this is the questions. And then the first type of questions is finding explicit information. The reason why I choose this type of question is because the answers are directly stated in the text, and the benefit is that it will train scanning skills of the students. And then the next type of text is sentence insertion. The reason is that students can rely on logical flow, not interpretation. And the benefit of this type of question is it improves understanding of paragraph structure. And then there is detail recognition. Because I chose this type of question because the students can identify, the student have to identify listed information, and the benefit is it will strengthen accuracy and comparison skills. And then there there are vocabulary and context questions. The reason the reason is because those questions uh the vocabulary in those questions can be inferred from the sentences in the paragraph, and the benefit they will build academic vocabulary skills of the students. And then the last type is mind idea and simple inference. The reason why I choose those type of questions because the ideas are clearly summarized in the paragraph, and it will improve basic comprehension and inference of the students. And then we move to the passage 2. And then in the passage 2, this is an argumentative text, but the questions remain. No, I'm sorry. Uh, The second passage is an argumentative text about language extinction and revitalization, and it gives a clear argument that is supported by facts and examples. So the word level of the text is B1. I adopted the text from IELTSmentor.com. The reason why I chose this text is because the ideas are explicit and logically ordered. Because the ideas are explicit and logically ordered, the problem, the causes, solutions, and examples. And this makes it manageable for lots learner. Even though the topic is academic, this text type is still appropriate for grade 2 grade 12, I'm sorry, because students should be exposed to argumentative reading, but the assessment questions still focus on literal comprehension, stated reasons, and basic inference. And then we move to the questions. The first type of questions is identifying main idea or writer's intention. The reason why I choose this type of question is because the purpose is has been clearly stated, and the benefit is it will train the student to recognize the purpose. And then understanding stated reasons. The next type is understanding stated reasons. Uh, because the cause effect has been explicitly explained in the text. And the benefit of this type of questions is it will build comprehension and explanations. And then there is simple inference. I choose this type of text because inference comes directly from the factual statements, and the benefit is it will develop light inferencing. And then I also add true, false, or not given type of questions because the students in this part the students have to compare statements within the text, and the benefit it will improve their precision and exam readiness. And I choose this type of question because this question requires scanning text for specific ideas, comparing statements to the passage, and determining whether the information matches or contradicts. And mm, this is a classic lot skill, and it will help grade 12 students to improve accuracy in distinguishing facts, contradiction, and missing information. That is a core skill for national exams and basic academic reading. So they not only have to identify yes or no, but not given, but also the not given. And then here is here is the reading skill assessment for high order thinking skill student. The first passage is expository text. The first passage is expository text about the solar system. The passage is dense and rich of information. It describes scientific classifications, relationships, and concepts. And I selected it because it pushed students beyond locating facts, and the students must connect concepts across the paragraphs, interpret scientific implication, and synthesize information. And this text is suitable for grade 12 hot students because grade 12 students should be ready for university for academic reading in university, especially text with complex structure and academic vocabulary. And the word level is B2. And it's still the same with the passive with the writing with the reading assessment for lot student. The first type of questions is interpreting scientific implication. The reason why I choose this type of text is because the students have to, in relationships, not only recall the facts, and the benefit is to build their analytical reading. And then there are also sentence insertion, and I chose this type of assessment, this type of question because the student have to evaluate coherence, and the benefit is it improves their text organization skill. And then evaluating accuracy reason. Evaluating accuracy, the students have to judge which statement is incorrect. I choose this type of question because it will strengthen their critical reading. And then there are also vocabulary in context. Yeah, because they have to find the meaning that is derived for scientific context. And the benefit is it will improve their academic literacy. And then the last type of questions is main purpose and evaluation. The reasons is it requires their scientizing the whole text, and the benefit it trains global comprehension. And then the second passage of reading assessment for hot student is argumentative text. And I adopt this text from IELTSmentor.com, and the word level is B2. So the text is about why people do not easily trust AI even when AI is accurate. It use it uses examples and psychological explanations. So the students must follow the reasoning carefully. And I chose this text because it requires students to interpret arguments, analyze how examples support claims, and infer implied meaning. And these are key of hot reading processes, and this text is appropriate for grade 12 because the topic is current and relevant, and it trains students in critical academic reading, which is important for higher education. And this passage strongly target hot student because students must analyze arguments and evidence. The type of questions is still the same with the reading assessment for lot student. The first type of question is identifying the writer's intention. I choose this type of question because the student have to interpret rhetorical purpose, and the benefit is to build their argument analysis. And also, and then the second type is interpreting reason because the ideas are implied, not stated directly. And the benefit is it strengthens their inferencing skills. And then also evaluating media influence. So they have to evaluate. And the reasons, the students have to analyze tone and implication. And the benefit, it will promote their critical media literacy. And then the last type of questions is true or false or not given type of questions, because the students have to verify the claims logically, and it strengthens their evaluative reading. So the students have to determine whether the statement match, contradict, or are not supported by the text. And because involves logical comparison, inferencing, and distinguishing between explicit and implicit information. So this type of question really trains their high-level analytical reading because it really need high accuracy, because it's not only yes or no, but also not given. And that's all from me. Thank you for your, and that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.